Hi everyone, Don Conroy here. Today's drawing is part of the Eco Explorers Club series, sponsored by SSE Airtricity. Those are very nice people who are sustainable partners with Dublin Zoo. A very special place to me as well. Many a time I've been there drawing pictures. Now this week we're going to learn all about biodiversity. And I'm going to show you how to draw one of my favourite little furry creatures, the red squirrel. So all you need is paper and pencils and we shall get started. Well, the lovely red squirrel. In Ireland we have two types of squirrels. We have the red squirrel and we have the grey squirrel. Now believe it or not, the red squirrel was in Ireland even before the last ice age. So this little creature loves coniferous trees. The red squirrel doesn't have the variety of food and habitat that the grey squirrel uses. So that's why the grey squirrel is much more successful. That's why you see it in cities and in most unlikely places. So what we're going to do is we'll have a go drawing it. And just remember, when you're looking at something like this, the basic shape, okay? We'd imagine a shape something like this. And roughly indicate where the eyes will be. As you know, the eyes are on the side of the animal. Ours are forward here, like this is called binocular vision, but they're to the side. And the ear we just indicate roughly there. And then the body will be something shaped like that. And we just connect up like that. And say the tail will come somewhere like that. And then the feet. The arms, whatever you like to call them. So you have that shape like that. And then, it would be sitting on the branch. So if we're happy with that shape, then we'll build it up again. We'll say, okay, let's make the connections. So we go like this. And around that. Now you can do this with a pencil. I'm just using it with heavy marker so you can see what I'm doing. And then you can rub out any unwanted lines afterwards. So suddenly you see this lovely creature shape and form appearing. So, got that so far? Great. So once you're happy with those basic shapes, then we can start to draw the animal. And I'll start up here. And again, you can use a pen, you can use ink as well, like what I'm doing. You can use your pencil initially. I'll do the eye next. So we'll draw an egg shape on its side. And there's the ears. And the amazing thing about squirrels, I say, these prefer to stay up in the trees for the most part. And now I'll move across like this and just indicate maybe that it's holding something like that. I'm keeping the brush what's called reasonably dry. So I'm just really working up the outline. Now in springtime, summertime, the red squirrel, its fur is very light and very thin because it doesn't need big heavy fur. But then come the winter time, that all changes and they end up having a lovely winter coat and their tail becomes more bushy and actually their ears have little ear tufts and they're quite faint in the springtime, but in the winter time they stand up a lot and then it looks like their ears are much longer than they are. They have a variety of things that they like to eat. They like to eat cones and beech mast and fungus, all kinds of stuff like that. Along here, their belly and around that, it's much more kind of creamy buff colour. Now I'm just indicating the tail there in a very loose way, like that. So sometimes when you see a squirrel, you know, it can be difficult to identify which one it is, but mainly to look out for a slimmer version, a smaller version of the grey squirrel, and that lovely red-brown fur. Where do they nest? They actually build a nest, believe it or not, and it's called a dray. And they build it high up in the trees. So sometimes you might see what looks like a big bird's nest, but in actual fact, it's a squirrel's dray. So when you're out for a walk, have a look up, and you'll notice these drays. They're actually made of twigs. So the mating takes place around December, and of course the males busy fighting with each other to meet the nice lady. And then come, if they're successful, then come May, the young are born. There may be as many as 3 to 6. So what happens is they're actually born blind, naked. So it takes a while for them to develop their fur and their eyesight and everything like that. And they will hang around with the mummy for a long time until she decides to have a second family. So she may have 2 broods in the same year. And if she does, then the first family tend to move away. And all things being equal, they should live till about 6 years of age. But unfortunately, most creatures in the wild, a lot of them don't get past even the first year. So out of 6 that are born, maybe 1 might just survive until to breed in the next season or whatever it may be. So it's tough enough. So they need all the help they can get. So the great thing is, if you do like drawing, you're interested in wildlife, and then you're discovering the marvelous things about biodiversity and all these wonderful things, it means you begin to appreciate the variety of life that's around. So I would suggest to you that you try and make yourself a little wildlife diary and write down the things you've seen, and try and do little sketches like this, and write down, you know, whether you've seen a red squirrel or a grey squirrel, or if you don't know what it is, you can just write down a few little notes. So very quickly, to sum up, the red squirrel prefers conifer woods, but they will be in broadleaf woods as well. They tend not to be hanging around cities as such, except if there's big parks and that. Well, it's different. Whereas the grey squirrel is very clever from the point of view is exploiting different habitats. Another thing, people think that they hibernate, but they don't. They actually don't hibernate. But what they do is they're not seen as much in the winter time. So what do they do? How do they feed? Well, they're clever enough. They have a little ladder hidden away, and so they have a lot of nuts and various other things that they store. You know, they squirrel them away, and by doing that, they can survive the harsh winters. So that's just a little flavour of the red squirrel. But the main thing is, when you're out, look around, because you never know what you might see, and you can always be surprised by the beauty that's around you. And for most people who don't really look at wildlife, it kind of happens at the corner of your eye. But if you tend to open up and look around, you'll see amazing things. So, as I say, one of my favourite furry friends. This is just a quick little doodle. So until the next time, thank you for your company, and stay safe, stay calm, and stay creative.